Hi, everyone. So right now we're going to go through the monthly meter creep test inspection. So as you guys can see on my screen, I'm logged in as a technician or propane user right now. If you are set up as a driver, your meter creep test is going to be on your main dashboard. But in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to this hamburger menu in the upper left-hand corner and click on more options. And these are going to be all of your additional inspection types that you have in P3 Mobile. So right here, we can see we have our monthly meter creep test and discharge system inspection. So we're going to click right into this. It's going to take us right into the inspection. And on the first page, it's going to ask us for our CTMV ID and our cargo tank serial number. And Brent, do you mind talking really quick about what these two fields are looking for?
Absolutely. So the CTMV ID number would be whatever your company has designated. For example, a truck number. Maybe you have truck 4, 5, or trucks 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever the case may be. That would be the information that you put under CTMV ID number. And then the cargo tank serial number. Well, every cargo barrel has a data plate on it, usually on the container right behind the driver's door on the cargo barrel. So you would find out whatever that number is, and you would put that in right here.
Awesome. So now that we have these two entered, we'll go ahead and click continue. And now we're going to get into the internal self-closing stop valve type. And Brent, do you mind talking through this one a little bit?
Sure. So every bobtail can be built slightly differently, and it's important that you understand which way that your truck was built. For example, does it have a lever or pneumatic piston activated, or does it have a pump actuated pressure differential? So you would identify whatever your truck has and then move to the next section.
And Brent, do you mind just going right into this one while I click through?
So this is going to go into the emergency discharge control equipment. So of course, we're going to test that off-truck remote activated system, or is it manually activated, or is it a thermal fusible element? All trucks are going to have different apparatus, but usually they're going to have all of those as a minimum. And then which way do we activate the system? Is it an air switch, a cable activated lever, or an electrical switch? Again, you'd have to know how your bobtail was constructed. You would select which one applied and then move to the next category. The next category is going to be the non-query or query device. And on every one of these items, you have the question mark right next to the label. And of course, that's the mobile professor feature. If you open that up, it tells us exactly what we're talking about. So if we were unsure, we can see here what the non-query device is. It's a handheld transmitter that can stop the flow of product and shut off the truck engine when the driver activates the system in the event there is a discharge of liquid propane. Or the query device would be a handheld transmitter that has a timing feature that requires the driver to respond to the system query signal once every 5 minutes to continue the product transfer, taking more than 5 minutes. So obviously you'd have to know how your truck was constructed. You would select whichever one of those you had, and you'd move to the next category.
Awesome. So now we're going to get into the actual meter creep test of this inspection. So I'm going to go ahead and enter these. And Brent, do you mind talking through the process of the meter creep test?
Sure. So it's required every 30 days that you perform this meter creep test on your bobtail. The name is a little deceiving. We're actually testing the internal valve or the belly valve on that cargo barrel. If you're not familiar, when they go bad or when they decide to not work anymore, they will close, but they will not close all the way, which is why we do this test. So we're going to document the meter flow stop time. The DOT says that we have 30 seconds plus an additional 5 to make certain that that valve closed all the way. So whatever the meter flow stop time was in seconds, you would record, and then whatever the meter reading was when the flow stopped within that 30-second window, and then was it the same reading 5 seconds later? And if it was, you can select past, or if it wasn't, you could have to make repairs, or you'd have to take it out of service and have it repaired at a facility.
So then once we've entered in our meter creep test, we'll go ahead and click continue. Now we're going to get into the off-truck remotely activated system shutdown test. And Brent, is there anything that people should know about when answering these questions?
Sure. So you should be performing this test every day to make sure that the bobtail engine shuts off. The engine could be a source of ignition. So that's why every driver has a remote on their person when making deliveries. If you came around the corner and saw that your truck was engulfed in a vapor cloud, you obviously don't want to run into that vapor cloud to shut the truck off. Therefore, you would use the emergency remote system and shut down everything, including the truck engine. And if it does that, then it passes and you're good for the next one.
We'll select pass and click continue. And Brent, do you mind just continuing on with the piping inspection section?
Sure. So this is going to be a visual inspection on the back of your bobtail, the propane side of things. You're going to do a visual inspection of your hose end nozzle, of the flex connector, the piping, the ball valves on the back of the truck. You should exercise those frequently to keep them in good working order. The hydrostatic relief valves and anything else that's on the back of that truck that's part of the propane system. And if it's all good, then you'd select passed and move to the next section.
So now we're going to get into the delivery hose assembly inspection. So on here, we're going to go ahead and select our hose manufacturer. We'll enter in our hose ID and then our pressure test date, which we'll go ahead and just enter in as today's date. And Brent, is there anything important specifically about the hose manufacturer, the hose ID that everybody should know?
Yeah, so I recommend, whether it be a brand new truck or whether it be a truck that was sent out and received a brand new delivery hose, that comes with some paperwork, which gives you the manufacturer and the hose ID number and the pressure test date. We recommend that you keep that document in the truck file in the office, as well as a copy in the bobtail itself. We recommend a 3-ring binder in the truck to keep all that important information, and that way there you have that at your fingertips. Sometimes getting that number off of the actual delivery hose can be very difficult, so having that paperwork with you will help with that process.
Awesome. So then we'll go ahead and select passed and we'll go ahead and click continue. And now we're going to get to the review and sign inspection page. So what we recommend is anytime, any inspection type that you're doing in P3 Mobile and that you come to a review and sign inspection page, just spot check everything. Like, so I'm looking and I know the CTMV ID, I entered that correctly, cargo tank serial number, that came over correct, and everything just looks as it should. So then once you've looked over it and everything looks good, you're going to go ahead and sign your name, and then you'll go ahead and select save. And it's going to tell us that our inspection was uploaded. So now this has been sent from P3 Mobile to the P3 desktop site where it's been added to the reporting.